Several years ago, when I started playing the Native American flute, I ran into a flute maker. I was up on the Warm Springs Reservation. I went to a Native American flute gathering, and Tony Francis was the flute maker that I met. And we really struck it off, created a friendship. And so he said, you know, I've got something in mind. I'm gonna send you a gift. It might take several months, but, well, I had completely forgotten about that. And then one day, when I was in my office up in Winnebago, I received a package. And I opened it up, and these two flutes were in that package from Tony Francis. And so I pulled them out and I started playing. There was some assembly acquired on this one. I had to grab this cross and put it in there. So I started playing it. That's a nice flute. It really sounds good. So I took the other one, started playing it, see what it sounded like. So I thought, wow, what a beautiful gift, right? So then there was a letter with it. And so I opened up this letter and I was reading through it. And Tony said that he made these two flutes to go together. And he said, you know, as a Christian, as a priest, I don't think I have to tell you that, you know, we don't honor the cross if it wasn't for the resurrection. I don't know if you can get a close-up on that, Pete, but here is the top of this one is an empty tomb with the stone rolled away. He intended the two to go together just like the cross is always connected, and it always will be connected to the empty tomb. We cannot separate the two. And over again, he said that, and I was like, well, what does he expect, you know, for them to go together? Maybe this? Maybe that's what he was expecting. I think this is a lesson for all of us at this time as we continue to be faced with the cross in our lives. Even though it's Easter Sunday morning, the pandemic has not left us, right? We still have that cross to carry, and it might get heavier. There might be people that we know. We have one parishioner here at Sacred Heart that has been diagnosed with COVID-19. There's a lot of us who are unsure. There's a lot of unknown at this time. A lot of anxiety that might be filling our hearts at this time, just like Mary of Magdala, who went to the tomb. And when she experienced the tomb, she was filled with anxiety and fear. And so she ran back to the disciples. And when they went, I can only imagine what was going through their minds as they ran along. Even Peter being the slowpoke. What must have been going through their minds? The anxiety, the fear. All of us can relate to that in a new way this year. But the message for all of us to grab hold of and hold tight to is that when they got there, they came to understand. John went in, and he was the first to believe. We will, throughout this great 50 days of Easter, we'll be reminding ourselves of all these resurrection stories, these beautiful stories about how Jesus revealed himself to his disciples. to Mary and to the two gentlemen walking on the road to Emmaus, we'll be able to once again remind ourselves of all these wonderful stories of how Jesus showed himself and that he was really alive. That's what I invite us all to, in a very special way this Easter season, to hold tight to. That all of the crosses in our lives are not simply burdens, but if we allow them to be, they are moments to transform us into the resurrection. Jesus lives for us today. He is the only historical figure that is still alive for us. And he desires for us to encounter him throughout these 50 days and every day of our life. No matter what cross, no matter what kind of anxiety and fear might want to come into our life and take control of us, we have the empty tomb. We have the resurrected Jesus on our side to continue to offer us that hope in the midst of all kinds of sadness, all kinds of unknowns and anxieties and fears. Let us continue to rejoice, continue to allow him to fill our hearts with joy this day and every day. Because after all, Jesus Christ is risen. Alleluia, alleluia.